just had the first rain of the year and all my beautiful pomegranates have burst wide open on the tree. So instead of letting the birds get them all, I've decided to make pomegranate molasses. And this in turn will lead to a bunch of other recipes that use pomegranate molasses. My favourite of which, as I'm on a gluten-free diet, is to make flapjacks with pomegranate molasses instead of the syrup, which glues them together nicely and just gives it that extra fruity zing. So at the moment I am just de-seeding all of the fruits, and then I am going to put the electric whizzer in them, make them all to a juicy pulp, and then I'm going to strain the juice out, add some sugar and boil it up to make a thick syrupy molasses. And as you can see, it's going to take a while. So the next thing to do is to pulp them all to juice with a machine. They are all minced. So now we have an old pair of tights, clean of course, or a jelly bag would be even more ideal, but I haven't got one. And a willing helper to help you pour all of the gloop. And we can just tie a knot, and then we have to hang this above the dish and let it drip until all the juice runs out. Then you need to find a suitable location to tie the jelly bag to, and so that it remains suspended above the container, and just leave it for all the juice to drip out. So here I have the juice that's been squeezed out of the pomegranates and left in a jelly bag to all drip out, and now I'm just going to measure it into this pot. So there we have about 650 millilitres. Obviously it depends how many pomegranates you had to start with. That's what was on my little tree. So I'm just going to put that onto the heat. And then I'm going to measure out the equivalent amount of sugar. So 650 millilitres, so I'm going to do, I should do the equal amount of sugar, which would be 650 grams. I think 600 will probably do it though. So just zero my scale. My sugar was making a break for freedom, that's why it's in a plastic bag. It's a little over half a bag. $601, good enough. And in it goes. To that, I'm just going to add a lemon cut into quarters. That will help with the setting. So I'm just giving it a little stir to make sure that I dissolve the sugar evenly so that it doesn't sit on the bottom of the pan and all go black and caramelly rather than mixing with the juice. And you can see in the pot next door I've got a handful of jars just bubbling away there, sterilising, and they'll be ready to pour in the hot syrup and shut the lid quick once it reaches the right consistency. And that's all there really is to pomegranate syrup. I let it simmer away for about half an hour on a low heat and give it a stir every once in a while to stop it bubbling over the top. I'm looking for it to turn a nice deep red wine colour, for it to thicken a little bit until it just starts to begin to coat the back of the spoon. Obviously, if you have more pomegranates and a bigger quantity, it will take a little bit more time than half an hour. And just like any jam, you can do the plate test. You have a cold plate and you pour a little bit of the liquid into the plate. You wait a couple of minutes till it cools down, and then with your finger you want it to leave, this is not ready, but you want it to leave a line where you draw your finger through it, where there will be no jelly, and then you'll know it's ready. So we're about 40 minutes underway, and I'm just going for another test here. Just pour a little bit of the liquid onto my plate, set it aside to cool down. It's been cooling for a couple of minutes, and now I just take my finger through the mix, and I'm looking to leave a white line without the liquid joining back together again. And that means it's reached a consistency where it can hold its shape a little bit, and that's a good syrup. All that remains for me to do is to fish out the lemons. Don't want them in the mix. And pour it straight into sterilised jars. These jars are still piping hot, so they won't break with the hot liquid. It always happens. There's just a little bit left, but not to fill, enough to fill the final jar. It would be nice on my toast for breakfast though. And the lids go straight on. Ooh, hot. Watch your fingers. There we have it, leave them to cool. I will post the recipe below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to see the recipes that show you what to do with pomegranate molasses coming up soon.